Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike here from Arizona, just making a video. So the other day I was going through my room and I had some spare tanks, and I mentioned to a few people that I'm adding some reptiles to this room, and somebody said, oh, maybe you should do a crested gecko, and I thought it was a great idea. And then I was looking into some of their enclosures, and I came across a couple of videos on YouTube on how to make DIY crested gecko enclosures, and I had a couple of 10-gallon tanks laying around. So I went to Home Depot and got a pretty thin sheet of acrylic, and I made basically some ventilation holes up top here, and I got a cheap latch so I can open and close this, and technically what we used is we actually used most common knowledge would tell you that silicone doesn't bond the plastic, but they actually have a silicone at Home Depot that's specially made for plastic, where the components bond the plastic. So this actually, I'll show you real quick. Now keep in mind this is a very thin piece of acrylic, so it does flex a little bit, but this thing's on there, man. Like, it's not going anywhere. You can also use weld-on, and weld-on would technically bond this to the rim of a fish tank. And I also have hinges. Now also what I noticed, which after you build things you learn things as you go along, I noticed here that these hinges, I didn't actually have to go at hinges that I can screw in and that are black. The same thing with this latch. On Amazon they actually have clear acrylic hinges that are on there, and I can actually bond them to the plastic and don't have to drill through there, because it leaves an exposure for your animal right here. It's a little sharp. So what we're going to do, based upon what other YouTubers have done, was add silicone here, so it creates just like a rubber, like a button kind of, so they can't cut themselves. Even on this back here, it's a little sharp, so silicone will have to go there as well. Now I've been toying with ideas of the crested gecko and stuff, and in all honesty I really like them, but I said, you know what, then you can take this even further if you decided to build this yourself. I mean, if you flip it to the side, I mean, who's to say this isn't an awesome dart frog enclosure, right? Like, you can now have a swinging door open, so you can set up your whole like vivarium, terrarium type deal, and have dart frogs all through there, and have your T5 lighting and whatever across the top to have their colors pop. There's so many things that you can do with this enclosure. And again, I have ventilation here, but there's nothing from stopping you, if you have it set up like this, from having ventilation on this side too, so you have ventilation on both sides of the tank. Now keep in mind, this is great the way it is now, because this keeps the humidity very high, especially for animals who need that high humidity. So that's awesome. Now I was thinking, well, what if you had an animal that didn't need that much humidity, or needed UVB light, because it won't penetrate through the glass. So what you would have to do, and this would be a little bit of work, but not much honestly, is I would probably heat up this frame without doing any of this stuff first with a heat gun, so the silicone gets warm, and just peel it off so it doesn't break. And with a razor blade I can just take off this top piece of glass. Okay, that would probably just come right off. Honestly, when you heat up silicone pretty hot, it comes right off. Like, that doesn't really hold as well. And you can replace that with a screen. What I might do is probably just get a screen, and maybe even do some like silicone. I'd silicone some of the acrylic on this just to go straight back on these two sides, and just do a screen across. But I haven't made one of those yet, but I'm toying with that idea too. But I really like this idea. I found this on several YouTubers' pages, so I just decided to copy it. It's not my original idea, but I figured this was something cool to share with you guys, and to see what you guys thought. Also too, I can't wait to get this one done. I was playing with that one over there. This 10-gallon tank is this one has 1/4-inch thick acrylic, nice thick sheet of acrylic. This actually holds water really well. So what I was thinking about doing is the bottom half is going to be a beta display with a pump that goes up to the top and makes like a waterfall effect down a bunch of rocks and onto some really nice like plants that would need high humidity to thrive, and you would have a whole Nice little setup there. Now obviously I wouldn't recommend putting any animals in with a betta fish. Obviously I think it's smart to keep a species only tank, so if there's fish, just leave it fish. Or maybe even a frog. A frog might be cool too, like a water frog or something. But something like that, and some plants going up here. Let me know what you guys think about this. This I know it's kind of weird to cut a 10-gallon in half to a 5-gallon, but just picture tons of plants up here and like really cool like design with rocks and things and waterfalls coming down it back into the water, because that's what we're probably going to do with this one. Anyway, this is my video for now. I'll talk to you later. Have a good day. Comment, rate, and subscribe.